Listen to me and listen close, because this right here, this is your wake-up call. You've been holding on for too long. Holding on to pain that no longer serves you, to people who drain you, to a past that keeps whispering lies in your ear. But today, right now, you make a choice to break free, a choice to rise, a choice to reclaim what's always been yours, your power. Somewhere along the way, you forgot who you were. You let the world convince you that your worth was tied to someone else's approval. You handed over your peace, your joy, your self-respect, all in the name of love, loyalty, or fear of being alone. But let me tell you something. Holding on to what's breaking you is not love. It's self-destruction. And you deserve better. There comes a time in your life when you have to draw a line in the sand and say enough is enough. Too often we find ourselves bending, breaking, and compromising who we are just to fit into spaces that were never meant for us. We chase love, acceptance, and validation, not realizing that the moment we start sacrificing our self-respect for someone else's approval, we have already lost the most valuable thing we own, our dignity. Self-respect isn't arrogance, and it isn't selfishness. It is the foundation of how you allow the world to treat you. It sets the tone for the people you let into your life, the opportunities you pursue, and the boundaries you enforce. When you value yourself, you send a message to the world that you refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And that, my friend, is the first step to reclaiming your power. There's a difference between being kind and being a doormat. Some people mistake your compassion for weakness, and the moment they realize you will tolerate disrespect, they will keep testing your limits. That's why self-respect isn't about being cold or distant. It's about knowing where to draw the line. It's about understanding that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. The hard truth is, if you don't respect yourself, don't expect others to do it for you. People mirror the way you treat yourself. If you constantly accept mistreatment, they will assume it's okay to keep giving it to you. But the day you start walking away from what no longer serves you, the day you stop explaining yourself to those who don't value you, is the day you take back control. You are not obligated to entertain disrespect just because you love someone. Love without respect is manipulation, and you deserve better. Too many people stay in toxic relationships, whether romantic, family, or friendships, because they fear being alone. But let me tell you something, loneliness is better than losing yourself in the wrong company. When you compromise your self-respect just to keep someone in your life, you are telling yourself that their presence is more valuable than your peace. And that's a dangerous place to be. The truth is, the people who genuinely love and respect you will never put you in a position where you have to choose between them and your dignity. They will understand your worth, respect your boundaries, and uplift you instead of tearing you down. The people meant to be in your life will never require you to lower your standards just to make them feel comfortable. So stop being afraid to walk away from what dims your light. You are not losing anything when you stand up for yourself. You are gaining everything. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Every time you allow someone to disrespect you and stay silent, you are giving them permission to do it again. But self-respect means having the courage to stand up for yourself, even if your voice shakes. It means setting boundaries and enforcing them, even if people call you difficult. It means knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone dictate your value. The moment you decide that you will no longer tolerate less than you deserve, the moment you stop seeking external validation and start honoring yourself, your entire life will change. You will attract better people, better opportunities, and most importantly, a better relationship with yourself. Because when you truly respect yourself, you don't settle for breadcrumbs. You demand the whole feast. And trust me, when you know what you bring to the table, you won't be afraid to eat alone. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with self-respect is because they have been conditioned to believe that setting boundaries makes them selfish. But let's be clear. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They are there to protect your peace, your energy, and your mental well-being. You are not responsible for how people feel about your boundaries. You are responsible for enforcing them. Some people will try to guilt trip you, make you feel bad for standing up for yourself, or call you too much. But understand this. The only people who get upset when you set boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. And those are the very people you need to distance yourself from. The ones who love and respect you will adjust. Because real love does not require you to suffer for someone else's comfort. Respecting yourself means understanding that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable. Stop giving unlimited access to people who only drain you. Not everyone deserves to know your struggles, your dreams, or your deepest thoughts. Some people are only around to take. And the more you give, the less they appreciate it. But when you start moving in silence, when you stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve an explanation, you will begin to see who truly respects you. The ones who love you will support you even when they don't fully understand your choices. But the ones who only wanted to control you will resent your growth because they benefited from your lack of self-respect. Pay attention to who gets offended when you start prioritizing yourself. That will tell you everything you need to know. A lot of people fear losing relationships if they start standing up for themselves. But let me tell you something, if your self-respect threatens a relationship, that relationship was never built on real love to begin with. True relationships, whether friendships, family, or romantic, are built on mutual respect. If someone walks away because you started enforcing boundaries, let them. If someone distances themselves because you stop tolerating disrespect, let them. Never beg for a seat at a table where you have to shrink yourself just to be accepted. The right people will respect your growth, not resent it, and the wrong ones, they will expose themselves the moment you start choosing yourself. Pay attention, because sometimes your silence will reveal more than your words ever could. The world will try to convince you that you need to prove your worth, that you need to earn love, respect, and appreciation. But listen to me. You do not have to prove anything to anyone. Your worth is not determined by how much you can endure, how many people approve of you. You do not have to break yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. The moment you stop seeking validation from people who don't even respect themselves, you set yourself free. The moment you realize that you are enough just as you are, you step into a power that cannot be shaken. And when you reach that level of self-respect, nothing and no one can make you feel small again. Self-respect is not just about how you allow others to treat you. It's about how you treat yourself. It's in the way you speak to yourself when no one is listening. It's in the way you refuse to settle for a life that doesn't fulfill you. It's in the way you prioritize your dreams, your goals, and your mental health without guilt. When you respect yourself, you don't chase people, you attract them. You don't beg for love, you radiate it. And you don't lower your standards, you hold them high until the right people meet you there. Because at the end of the day, the relationship you have with yourself sets the foundation for every other relationship in your life. And when you truly learn to respect yourself, you unlock a level of peace, power, and freedom that no one can take away from you. So today, make the decision to put yourself first, not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors who you are. Make the decision to stop tolerating less than you deserve. Make the decision to walk away from anything and anyone that does not align with your peace, your growth, and your self-worth. You are powerful, you are worthy, and you are more than enough. So stand up, stand tall, and never let anyone, including yourself, convince you otherwise. Life has a way of teaching us the hardest lessons through the things we hold on to the longest. We grip onto people, situations, and memories as if they define who we are. We convince ourselves that we need to stay, that we need to keep trying, that we need to fix what's broken, even when it's clear that what we're holding on to is holding us back. But the truth is, growth requires release. You cannot step into the next chapter of your life if you're still rereading the last one. You cannot elevate if you're weighed down by the baggage of your past. Holding on to pain, resentment, and relationships that no longer serve you will only drain your spirit and keep you stuck in a place where you no longer belong. If you truly want to grow, if you truly want to step into your power, you must learn the art of letting go. Letting go is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is the boldest, most courageous act of self-love. It takes strength to release something you once prayed for. It takes faith to walk away from what's familiar, even when you know it's no longer good for you. But the most painful truth of life is this: not everything is meant to stay. Some people are temporary. Some situations are just lessons. Some doors are meant to close because they lead to nowhere. And if you spend too much time forcing what isn't meant to be, you will miss the blessings waiting for you on the other side. Growth demands sacrifice, and sometimes that sacrifice is your attachment to the very things that are blocking your elevation. You cannot receive with closed hands. You cannot grow if you're still clinging to what was. We stay in places we've outgrown because we fear the unknown. We settle for relationships that drain us because we're afraid to be alone. We replay old conversations, old mistakes, and old wounds in our minds because we don't know who we are without the pain. But let me tell you something, comfort zones are prisons in disguise. They keep you safe, but they also keep you small. They convince you that staying in the familiar, even if it hurts, is better than taking a risk on something new. But growth never happens in comfort. You are not meant to stay stagnant. You are not meant to repeat the same cycles over and over. The moment you stop fearing change and start embracing it, your life will open up in ways you never imagined. But first, you have to let go of everything keeping you trapped. Some people will not understand your decision to move on. They will question why you chose to walk away. They will try to guilt you, manipulate you, or make you feel like you are making a mistake. But understand this, you do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. You do not have to justify your healing. You do not have to apologize for refusing to tolerate what no longer serves your peace. People who love you will support your growth even if they don't fully understand it. But those who benefited from your struggle, those who thrived off of your brokenness, will resist your transformation. Pay attention to who reacts negatively when you start setting boundaries, because those are the people who never truly had your best interests at heart. Let them go. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with peace, knowing that what is ahead of you is far greater than what you are leaving behind. Letting go is not just about people, it's about releasing old versions of yourself that no longer align with where you're going. The version of you that tolerated disrespect, let them go. The version of you that settled for less, let them go. The version of you that doubted your own worth, because you are evolving. You are stepping into a new level of wisdom, strength, and clarity. But you cannot walk into that new season carrying the weight of who you used to be. Give yourself permission to grow. Give yourself permission to evolve. Give yourself permission to outgrow old habits, toxic environments, and limiting beliefs. You are not the same person you were last year, last month, or even last week. And that is something to be proud of. Pain is a teacher, but it is not a home. Too many people sit in their suffering, replaying the same heartbreaks, disappointments, and betrayals over and over, refusing to let go of what hurt them. But let me ask you something. How can you move forward if you keep looking back? How can you heal if you keep reopening the wound? The past is gone. The only thing you have control over is what you choose to do right now. Will you stay stuck in pain, or will you rise from it? Will you let your past define you, or will you use it as fuel to become better? The choice is yours. But remember this, every moment you spend dwelling on what was is a moment you lose creating what could be. Let it go. Not because they deserve forgiveness, not because the situation was fair, but because you deserve peace. When you start letting go, your world will shift. The things that once drained you will no longer have power over you. The people who once controlled you will no longer affect your emotions. The worries that once consumed your mind will no longer steal your joy. You will begin to feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. Because when you stop carrying the weight of the past, you create space for new blessings to enter your life. You create space for real love, for genuine happiness, for unshakable confidence. And most importantly, you create space for the most powerful version of yourself to emerge. Letting go is not just an act of release, it is an act of rebirth. It is the moment you stop being who you were always meant to be. Many people hold on because they fear that if they let go, they will have nothing left. But let me tell you something. You are not losing when you walk away from what hurts you. You are not losing when you choose yourself. You are gaining freedom. You are gaining clarity. You are gaining the ability to create a life that truly fulfills you. Everything that is meant for you will never require you to beg, chase, or struggle. What is meant for you will flow into your life effortlessly when you create space for it. But first, you must let go of what is blocking your blessing. Trust the process. Trust that what is being removed is making space for something greater. Trust that every ending is leading you to a beautiful new beginning. So today, make a decision to release what no longer serves you. A decision to stop replaying old wounds and start creating new victories. A decision to walk away from anything and anyone that is keeping you from becoming the best version of yourself. You owe it to yourself to grow. You owe it to yourself to heal. You owe it to yourself to step into your power without hesitation, without apology, without fear. Let go, my friend, and watch how your entire life transforms. There comes a moment in life when you realize that nothing, no amount of success, no relationship, no material possession matters more than your peace. You can have everything that the world tells you will make you happy, but if your soul is in turmoil, none of it will bring you joy. Peace is not just a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation of a life truly well lived. Without it, even the greatest achievements feel empty. Without it, love feels like a battlefield instead of a sanctuary. Without it, every day feels like a struggle instead of a blessing. The truth is, nothing is worth sacrificing your peace. Not money, not validation, not relationships that drain you. The moment you start protecting your peace, the moment you choose it over anything that disrupts it, That is the moment you take back control of your life. But here's the hard truth. Peace does not come freely. It is something you must fight for. It is something you must guard. Because in this world, there will always be something trying to rob you of it. Toxic people, unnecessary drama, your own overthinking. These are thieves that will steal your peace if you let them. That's why you have to be intentional. You have to learn to say no unapologetically. You have to walk away from anything that disturbs your spirit, even if it's familiar. You have to let go of the need to please everyone, to fix everything, to be available at the cost of your own sanity. Your peace is too valuable to be placed in the hands of others. You have to own it, you have to protect it, and most importantly, you have to recognize that anything that costs you your peace is far too expensive. Many people go through life believing that peace is something that comes after success. They think, once I have more money, I'll have peace. Once I prove myself, I'll have peace. But that's a lie. Peace is not found in external things. It is cultivated within. It is a state of mind, a way of living, a decision you make every single day. Some of the richest people in the world are drowning in misery. Some of the most famous individuals cannot sleep at night because peace has nothing to do with what you have. It has everything to do with what you allow into your life. It is about what you tolerate, what you give your energy to, and what you let go of. The key to a truly happy life is not having more. It is learning how to protect your peace no matter what. One of the biggest enemies of peace is attachment. Attachment to people who mistreat you. Attachment to situations that drain you. Attachment to expectations that were never yours to carry. The more you cling to things that are out of your control, the more you invite stress, anxiety, and disappointment into your life. True peace comes when you learn the art of detachment. When you stop trying to force things to be what they're not. When you stop chasing people who have already let you go. When you stop expecting life to unfold exactly as you planned. Peace is found in surrender. In trusting that what is meant for you will never miss you, and what is not meant for you will always pass you by. Let go of control, let go of attachment, and watch how much lighter your soul feels. Another way people lose their peace is by holding on to negativity, grudges, resentment, past mistakes. They carry the weight of what hurt them, allowing it to consume their thoughts, dictate their emotions, and steal their joy. But here's something you need to understand. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. It is not about excusing what happened. It is not about letting people off the hook. It is about freeing yourself from the prison of bitterness. Because carrying hate in your heart is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It only destroys you. Let go of the past. Let go of what they did. Let go of what you cannot change. Not for them, but for you. Because your peace is too precious to be sacrificed at the altar of resentment. Boundaries are another crucial part of protecting your peace. Too often, people feel guilty for saying no. They feel obligated to engage in conversations that drain them, relationships that break them, and environments that suffocate them. But peace requires boundaries. It requires the courage to say, I will not allow this into my space. It requires the wisdom to recognize when something is costing you more than it's worth. Some people thrive on chaos. Some people live off of negativity. And if you allow them into your life unchecked, they will pull you into their storm. But you have the power to say no. You have the power to walk away. And you have the right to put your peace above everything else. Because without peace, nothing else truly matters. Comparison is another silent killer of peace. In today's world, it's easy to look at someone else's life and feel like you're not enough. Social media is filled with highlight reels that make you question your own journey. But let me tell you something. The fastest way to lose your peace is to compare your life to someone else's. Because you will always find someone who seems to be doing better. You will always see someone who looks happier, more successful, more put together, but you don't see their struggles. You don't see their sacrifices. You don't see the battles they fight behind closed doors. Focus on your own path. Focus on your own growth. The only person you should be competing with is the person you were yesterday. Stay in your lane and your peace will follow. One of the most powerful things you can do for your peace is to choose simplicity. Society will tell you that you need more money, more possessions, more achievements to be happy. But in reality, the happiest people are those who find joy in the simple things. A quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, a deep breath of fresh air. Peace is not found in excess. It is found in gratitude. It is found in appreciating what you already have instead of always chasing what's next. Learn to slow down, learn to be present, learn to find beauty in the smallest moments, and your life will feel infinitely richer. At the end of the day, peace is the greatest wealth you can ever possess. You can have all the money in the world, but if your mind is in turmoil, you are still poor. You can be surrounded by people, but if your soul is restless, you are still alone. True success is not measured by what you have. It is measured by how at peace you are when you close your eyes at night. It is measured by how light your heart feels, how free your mind is, how deeply you sleep without worry. So choose peace. Guard it. Protect it with everything you have. Because once you have peace, you have everything. So today, make a promise to yourself. A promise to stop chasing chaos. A promise to walk away from anything that steals your joy. A promise to protect your energy, to let go of negativity, and to live in a state of peace, no matter what is happening around you. Because peace is not just a feeling, it is a lifestyle. And once you choose it, your entire life will transform. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful things you can ever give, not just to others, but to yourself. Holding on to anger, resentment, and bitterness is like carrying a heavy weight on your soul. It drains your energy, poisons your spirit, and keeps you stuck in a cycle of pain. But when you forgive, you free yourself. You release the burden that has been holding you down. You choose peace over poison, healing over hurt. But let me be clear. Forgiveness does not mean reconnection. It does not mean allowing the same people back into your life to hurt you again. It does not mean pretending like nothing happened. It means making peace with the past, learning from it, and moving forward without reopening a door that God has already closed. Too often, people mistake forgiveness for weakness. They think that if you forgive someone, it means you are okay with what they did. But that's not true. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior. It is about refusing to let it control you anymore. It is about choosing to let go of the emotional baggage that is weighing you down. When you forgive, you are saying, I refuse to allow this pain to define me. I refuse to let what they did steal my joy, my peace, my future. But at the same time, you must also have the wisdom to understand that just because you forgive someone does not mean they deserve access to you again. Some people have already shown you who they are. Believe them. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that not everyone deserves a second chance. There are people who will take your forgiveness and use it as an opportunity to hurt you again. They will see it as a weakness and believe they can walk in and out of your life as they please. But forgiveness does not mean foolishness. You can love people from a distance. You can wish them well without welcoming them back into your space. You can release the anger without reopening the relationship. Protecting your peace is just as important as forgiving, and sometimes that means leaving people exactly where they belong in the past. Think about how many times you have given someone another chance, only for them to prove to you why you should have let them go the first time. The cycle of hurt continues when you allow the wrong people back into your life. They apologize, they promise they've changed, and for a while it feels like things might be different. But eventually the same patterns resurface. The same disrespect, the same dishonesty, the same emotional wounds. Not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. Some people were lessons, not lifelong companions. Some people were meant to teach you something about yourself, about boundaries, about self-respect. And once the lesson is learned, it is your responsibility to move forward, not backward. Forgiveness is about you, not them. It is about taking back your power. When you hold on to anger, you are still allowing that person to control your emotions. You are still giving them space in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit. But when you forgive, you are saying, I release you. I let go of this pain. I choose freedom over bitterness, and that is one of the most powerful choices you will ever make. But make no mistake, choosing to forgive does not mean choosing to tolerate. You can forgive someone and still refuse to allow them back into your life. That is not bitterness, that is self-respect. Some people will try to guilt you into reconnecting. They will say, if you've really forgiven me, why can't we go back to the way things were? But that's manipulation. Forgiveness does not erase consequences. It does not mean forgetting the lessons you have learned. It does not mean giving someone unlimited access to your life. You can forgive someone and still keep them at a distance. You can wish them well without welcoming their chaos back into your world. You can be kind without being naive. Let go of the guilt. You do not owe anyone a place in your life just because you found the strength to forgive them. Understand this, not everyone is meant to continue with you on your journey. Some people were only meant to be part of a chapter, not the entire book. Holding on to relationships that no longer serve you only delays your growth. Some people cannot go where you are going. Some people will only hold you back, drain you, and keep you from stepping into the life you were meant to live. You must have the courage to move forward, even if it means leaving people behind. That is not cruelty, that is wisdom. That is strength. That is self-love. And let's talk about boundaries, because too many people think that forgiveness means erasing them. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They do not mean you are cold or unkind. They mean you value yourself enough to protect your energy. If someone has repeatedly disrespected you, hurt you, or taken you for granted, it is not your job to keep giving them opportunities to do it again. Your heart is not a revolving door. Your peace is not negotiable. Your self-worth is not up for debate. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, but access to your life is a privilege that must be earned. At the end of the day, choosing to forgive but not reconnect is an act of self-love. It is choosing peace over chaos. It is choosing healing over hurt. It is choosing to let go of the past without reopening old wounds. You do not have to be bitter to move on. You do not have to seek revenge to heal. You simply have to decide that your future is more important than the people who hurt you. Because when you finally release that pain, when you truly let go, you will find that life becomes lighter, freer, and filled with the kind of peace that no one can take away from you. Everything in life costs energy. Your time, your attention, your emotions. These are all forms of currency. Just like money, if you spend them carelessly, you'll find yourself depleted, drained, and struggling to function at your best. But if you invest them wisely, if you protect your energy the same way you will protect your financial wealth, you will begin to see transformation in your life. Your energy determines your reality. It dictates how you show up in the world, how you handle challenges, and what kind of people you attract. The truth is, not everyone and everything is worth your energy. Some people, some situations, some battles are simply not worth the cost. You must become intentional about where you invest your energy, because once it's spent, you don't get it back. Think about the people in your life right now. Are they adding to your energy, or are they draining it? Some relationships are like deposits, filling you with motivation, love, and encouragement. Others are withdrawals, constantly taking from you but never giving anything back. If you are always exhausted, always emotionally drained, always feeling like you are running on empty, it's time to evaluate where your energy is going. There are people who survive by feeding off your strength. They come to you with their problems, but never solutions. They take from you, but never pour into you. They keep you entangled in drama that has nothing to do with you. And if you are not careful, they will leave you with nothing left for yourself. Stop allowing people to bankrupt your energy. You wouldn't hand over all your money to someone who doesn't value it, would you? So why do you do it with your energy? You cannot afford to waste your energy on negativity, distractions, or people who are not aligned with your purpose. Your energy is sacred. It is your power, your strength, your ability to create, to love, to grow. When you give it away to the wrong people, you rob yourself of the ability to build the life you truly desire. And let's be honest, there are energy thieves everywhere. Toxic friendships, unhealthy relationships, negative environments, self-doubt, overthinking, fear. All of these things slowly drain you. You must guard your energy the same way you guard your success. The most successful people understand one thing. Energy is their greatest asset. They do not waste time arguing with people who don't matter. They do not engage in unnecessary drama. They do not spend hours on distractions that do not move them forward. They focus their energy where it counts. On growth, on self-improvement, on opportunities, on things that nourish their mind, body, and soul. If you want to change your life, you must start by changing where your energy flows. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Before you get into an argument, before you chase after someone who keeps walking away, before you worry about something that hasn't even happened yet, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Because what you focus on grows. Your energy is also connected to your mindset. What you think about consistently shapes your reality. If you are always focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, what's unfair, your energy will reflect that. You will feel heavy, burdened, powerless. But if you shift your energy toward gratitude, solutions, and self-improvement, your entire world will begin to change. Your energy attracts what you believe. If you believe in growth, success, and abundance, you will naturally align yourself with opportunities that reflect those beliefs. But if you spend all your energy on negativity, you will keep attracting more of the same. You must be intentional about protecting your energy from your own negative thoughts. Another truth about energy is that it is limited. You cannot do everything. You cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot fight every battle, fix every problem, or pour into people who refuse to fill themselves. If you continue to overextend yourself, you will break. You will wake up one day and realize that you have given so much to everything and everyone else that there is nothing left for you. And that is a dangerous place to be. Burnout is real. Emotional exhaustion is real. Feeling drained because you are constantly carrying things that are not yours to carry is real. If you do not start prioritizing your own energy, no one else will do it for you. Boundaries are necessary to protect your energy. You do not owe everyone access to your time, your emotions, or your mental space. Some people will feel entitled to your energy simply because they are used to taking it. They will expect you to always be available, to always fix things, to always pour into them. But you must be strong enough to say no. Saying no is not selfish. It is survival. It is choosing to protect yourself before you become too drained to help anyone, including yourself. You cannot give from an empty cup. The stronger your boundaries, the more energy you will have for the things that truly matter. Rest is also an investment in your energy. You cannot operate at your best if you are constantly exhausted, mentally drained, and running on fumes. Rest is not laziness. Taking time to recharge, to disconnect from stress, to replenish your spirit is not a waste. It is a necessity. The world will always demand more from you, but you must learn to demand rest for yourself. Your energy is your power, and if you do not take care of it, you will eventually run out. Prioritize sleep. Prioritize solitude. Prioritize moments of peace. These are not luxuries. They are requirements for anyone who wants to protect their energy and function at their highest level. At the end of the day, you must treat your energy with the same respect you would give your money, your health, your goals. You cannot afford to keep giving it away to things that do not serve you. You must be intentional about where you invest it, because wherever your energy goes, your life follows. If you waste it on drama, negativity, and distractions, your life will reflect that. But if you channel it into growth, positivity, and purpose, you will see incredible transformation. The choice is yours. Spend your energy wisely, because it is the most valuable currency you have. Power does not always come from the loudest voice in the room. True strength, real control, and undeniable influence often come from silence. The world teaches you to respond, to defend, to explain, to prove yourself. But the wisest people understand that silence speaks louder than words. Silence is a strategy. It is a shield. It is a weapon that, when used correctly, commands more respect than any argument ever could. When you master the art of silence, you gain the upper hand in any situation. You stop wasting energy on pointless conversations. You stop reacting to things that are beneath you. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Think about the moments when silence would have served you better. That argument you didn't need to have. That person you tried to convince. That situation that drained your energy because you kept engaging when you should have walked away. Sometimes the best thing you can do is say nothing at all. Silence forces people to sit with their own thoughts. It makes them wonder, question, and reflect. It denies them the reaction they were expecting. It shifts the power dynamic in your favor. When you refuse to engage in unnecessary conflict, you remain in control. When you stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve an explanation, you conserve your power. When you let silence do the talking, your presence becomes even louder. Silence is a sign of self-discipline. Weak people react emotionally. Strong people respond strategically. When you are silent, you give yourself time to think, to observe, to calculate your next move. You don't let emotions dictate your actions. You don't let other people pull you into their chaos. You stand firm, grounded in your power, knowing that you do not owe anyone a response. Not everything requires your energy. Not every insult deserves a reply. Not every situation needs your attention. Some things are better left unanswered, because your silence speaks volumes. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people in the room are often the quietest? They don't need to prove anything. They don't need validation. They don't need to explain themselves. Their presence alone commands respect. That is the power of silence. When you are silent, people wonder what you are thinking. They question if they have your approval. They realize that your words carry weight because you do not waste them. When you talk too much, you give away your power. When you remain silent, you force the world to pay attention when you do speak. Silence is also the best response to disrespect. People who want to provoke you are looking for a reaction. They want you to defend yourself, to explain, to justify your position. But when you refuse to engage, when you meet their negativity with silence, they lose their power. They cannot control you. They cannot manipulate you. They cannot pull you into their drama. Your silence frustrates them. It leaves them powerless. It shows them that you are unbothered, untouchable, and operating at a level beyond their reach. Nothing disturbs a toxic person more than your silence. But silence is not just about avoiding negativity. It is also about growth. When you are silent, you listen, you observe, you learn. People who talk too much miss valuable information. They are so focused on being heard that they fail to hear what truly matters. But those who are silent, those who take the time to listen and understand, gain knowledge, wisdom, and insight. They see things others don't. They recognize opportunities others miss. They make decisions based on strategy, not impulse. Silence allows you to become a student of life, constantly learning, constantly evolving, constantly sharpening your mind. Silence also protects your dreams. Not everyone needs to know your next move. Not everyone deserves access to your plans, your struggles, your ambitions. The more you talk about what you are going to do, the more you invite unnecessary opinions, doubts, and negative energy into your vision. Move in silence, build in silence, succeed in silence. Let your results do the talking. There is power in keeping your goals to yourself and letting your actions speak for you. The greatest warriors know that silence is the key to winning battles. They do not show their emotions. They do not reveal their weaknesses. They do not waste time with unnecessary words. They let their actions, their discipline, and their presence do the talking. You must learn to do the same. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every challenge deserves your response. Not every insult needs a comeback. When you master silence, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you become unstoppable. Silence is also a tool for inner peace. When you stop engaging with negativity, when you stop reacting to every little thing, when you stop letting people pull you into their chaos, you find peace. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself. You stop wasting time on things that do not serve you. You conserve your energy for what truly matters. The world is noisy, full of distractions, opinions, and unnecessary conflicts. But when you choose silence, you choose peace. You choose to protect your energy. You choose to move with intention instead of reaction. At the end of the day, silence is not just a lack of words. It is a presence, a power, a statement in itself. It is the ability to control your emotions, to protect your energy, to navigate life with wisdom and strategy. It is a weapon that allows you to win without fighting, to lead without shouting, and to influence without forcing. When you learn to embrace silence, you will find that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your power, your presence, your silence, these will speak for you. Life often feels like a race. We want things to happen now. We pray, we work, we hope. And when things don't go our way immediately, we begin to doubt. We wonder if we are forgotten, if we are being punished, if we will ever see the breakthrough we've been waiting for. But here's the truth. God's timing is never wrong. He is not late. He is not ignoring you. He is preparing you. What you think is a delay is actually divine alignment. What you see as a setback is a setup for something greater. When you learn to trust God's timing, you free yourself from worry, from fear, from frustration. You understand that every single thing is unfolding exactly as it should. Sometimes we rush into things because we are afraid of missing out. We force relationships, careers, and decisions before their time, only to find out later that we weren't ready. We look back and realize that the things we wanted so badly were not what we needed. God sees the full picture. He knows what is best for you, and He knows when it is best for you. What is meant for you will never pass you by. The doors that are closed right now are not a punishment. They are protection. God is keeping you from something that is not meant for you or not meant for you yet. Waiting is hard. It tests your patience, your faith, and your strength. But waiting is also where the greatest lessons are learned. In the waiting, you grow. In the waiting, you develop trust. In the waiting, God shapes you into the person who can handle the blessing He has for you. Because here's the truth. God will never give you something you are not ready to handle. If you haven't received what you've been praying for, it's because He is still preparing you for it, or He has something even better. Trust that delay is not denial. It is refinement. It is protection. It is preparation. Think about all the times in your past when you felt disappointed. You wanted something so badly, and when it didn't happen, you felt heartbroken. But now, looking back, you see that God had a better plan. You see that if He had given you what you wanted, you would have settled for less than what you deserved. God's plans are higher than our own. What we think we need is nothing compared to what He has in store for us. He is not withholding from you. He is waiting for the right moment to bless you in a way that exceeds your expectations. We live in a world that pushes urgency. Social media, society, and even people around us make us feel like we are behind, like we should be further ahead, like we should have everything figured out by now. But God does not work on the world's timeline. He is not concerned with how fast things happen. He is concerned with how right things happen. Your journey is your own. Comparison will only steal your peace. Trust that what is meant for you will come in its perfect time, not a second too soon and not a second too late. Faith is not just believing when things are easy. It is believing when things are uncertain. It is trusting that even when you can't see what God is doing, He is still working on your behalf. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean there isn't progress. Just because things feel slow doesn't mean they aren't falling into place. Sometimes God is working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances, preparing people, and setting up divine connections that you can't even imagine. You may not see it now, but one day you will look back and realize that everything happened exactly the way it was supposed to. There is peace in surrender. When you stop trying to control everything, when you stop forcing things to happen before their time, you will find freedom. Trusting God's timing means letting go of anxiety, of desperation, of the need to know everything right now. It means stepping back and allowing Him to do what only He can do. It means having faith that even when things don't make sense, even when they feel unfair, even when they are painful, God is still in control. Have you ever considered that maybe the reason God is making you wait is because He is trying to build something in you? Maybe He is strengthening your patience. Maybe He is teaching you resilience. Maybe He is growing your faith. The waiting season is not wasted time. It is training. God is preparing you for something bigger than what you imagine. And when the time is right, when everything is aligned, when you are truly ready, the doors will open effortlessly. You won't have to chase. You won't have to beg. You won't have to force anything. The blessing will come to you because it was always meant to be yours. When you trust God's timing, you walk with confidence. You stop worrying about when things will happen and you start trusting that they will happen at the perfect time. You stop feeling anxious about the future because you know that God is already there, setting the stage for your success. You stop doubting yourself because you know that God is guiding your steps. You rest in the assurance that what is meant for you is already written. And nothing, no delay, no mistake, no setback can take away what God has planned for you. So let go of the need to rush. Let go of the fear that you are running out of time. Let go of the doubt that makes you question whether God hears your prayers. He hears you. He sees you. He is working for you. Trust that everything is coming together in the most perfect way at the most perfect time. And when it does, you will understand why the wait was necessary, because what God has for you will always be worth it. There comes a time in life when you must stand up and reclaim your voice. For too long, you've stayed silent to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to fit in, to be accepted. You've swallowed your opinions, dimmed your light, and let others dictate your worth. But deep inside, you know you were not created to be silent. You were not meant to be overlooked, ignored, or dismissed. Your thoughts, your feelings, your truth, they matter. And if you don't speak up for yourself, who will? It's time to stop waiting for permission and start owning your power. There's a difference between being quiet and being silenced. Being quiet is a choice. Being silenced is control. The world will try to shrink you, convince you that your voice isn't important, that your opinions don't hold weight. Don't believe that lie. Every time you hold back from expressing yourself, you betray the very essence of who you are. Your voice is the bridge between your soul and the world. It is how you share your ideas, set your boundaries, declare your worth. The moment you start speaking up, you reclaim your place in this world. Maybe you were taught to be agreeable, to never ruffle feathers, to avoid standing out. Maybe you were raised in an environment where speaking up meant rejection, criticism, or even punishment. But now you are an adult. Now you have a choice. Will you continue to suppress your truth to make others comfortable? Or will you finally give yourself permission to be heard? You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You just have to be authentic. Reclaiming your voice doesn't mean arguing with everyone or demanding attention. It means valuing your thoughts enough to express them without fear. It means no longer apologizing for having an opinion. It means standing firm in your beliefs even when others disagree. It means refusing to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's version of who they think you should be. You are not here to please the world. You are here to fulfill your purpose, and your voice is part of that mission. The people who benefit from your silence will call you difficult when you start to speak up. Let them. They were never meant to control your voice in the first place. The moment you take back your power, you'll see who was truly in your corner and who was only there when you were quiet and compliant. Some relationships will shift. Some people will leave, but let them go. Your peace is worth more than their approval. For too long, you've put others' comfort above your own truth. You've nodded when you wanted to disagree. You've smiled when you wanted to cry. You've said yes when your soul was screaming no, but no more. No more pretending. No more betraying yourself to make others happy. No more swallowing your pain just to keep relationships intact. You deserve to be heard. Your needs matter. Your feelings matter. Your boundaries matter. If people cannot respect your voice, then they do not deserve access to you. Your voice is your power. It's how you demand respect. It's how you tell the world who you are and what you stand for. And let me tell you something. Your voice is not weak. Your voice is not small. Your voice is not insignificant. It has the power to inspire, to heal, to change lives, including your own. When you reclaim your voice, you reclaim your identity. You stop living for validation and start living in your truth. Some people will not like the new you. They were comfortable with your silence. They liked you better when you didn't question, when you didn't set boundaries, when you just went along with what they wanted. But their discomfort is not your problem. You were not put on this earth to live in the shadows of others. You were born to speak, to lead, to express yourself freely. And if your voice disrupts their expectations, so be it. You are no longer in the business of making yourself small. Reclaiming your voice is not just about speaking. It's about living in alignment with your truth. It's about walking away from anything that suppresses you. It's about standing up for yourself when no one else will. It's about saying, I matter, my voice matters, my life matters. Because the moment you start believing that, the world will have no choice but to listen. So go ahead, reclaim your voice. Speak your truth with confidence, with courage, with conviction. Stop waiting for the right moment, for the perfect words, for someone else to validate what you already know inside. Your voice is your birthright. Use it, own it, honor it, and watch how your world begins to change. My friends, life is too short to live in change. Too short to stay trapped in fear and self-doubt and toxic cycles that drain your soul. You were created for more. You were born to be strong, to be bold, to live with purpose. And that means making the choice to detach from what no longer serves you, letting go of what's weighing you down and reclaiming the power that has always been yours. You see, every moment you stay attached to the past, to toxic relationships, to negative thoughts, you give away a piece of yourself. You trade your peace for pain, your confidence for insecurity, your dreams for someone else's expectation. And I know it's hard. It's hard to walk away. It's hard to say no. It's hard to trust that something better is waiting for you on the other side. But let me tell you this. There is nothing more powerful than a person who knows their worth, who refuses to be controlled, who chooses their own path. Self-respect comes first. If you don't value yourself, the world won't either. If you don't set boundaries, people will keep crossing them. If you don't stand up for yourself, life will keep knocking you down. You are not here to beg for love, to chase after approval, to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You are here to stand tall, to own your space, to live boldly and unapologetically. Let go to grow. Stop holding on to things that keep you small. Stop fearing change when growth is on the other side. Every time you let go of what's toxic, you make room for what's meant for you. And don't let anyone tell you that walking away is weakness. It is the greatest sign of strength. The strongest people are the ones who know when to leave, when to step back, when to choose themselves, because peace is priceless. And if you have to sacrifice your peace to keep someone in your life, that person was never meant to stay. Stop giving your energy to people who don't deserve it. Your energy is your currency, and you must protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. You can't build your future if you're constantly drained by the wrong people. Forgive, but don't reconnect. Learn to let go of anger, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. But forgiveness does not mean access. Some people do not deserve a second chance in your life. Some people were lessons, not lifelong companions. Trust God's timing. He knows what he's doing.